Welcome back to another episode of Mic Mayhem. Today we got a Valentine's edition with 4 brand new spanking stories all about being in love and Valentine. Let's dive in. Am I the asshole for breaking up with my boyfriend the day after Valentine's Day? We have been dating for a little more than 2 years, and honestly, my heart just isn't in it. I love him, but I know just deep down that it's not going to work out. Especially because I found myself having feelings for someone else. I'm always terrible at breaking up, and I draw out the process way too much. So I want to dump him, and all I can think about is the day after Valentine's Day, and everyone is going to think that I'm such an asshole. We're long distance, so we didn't get each other anything, and we didn't celebrate, but still, culturally, seems like pretty shit day to do it. The fact that we didn't celebrate yet almost makes it feel worse. The worst part is, he loves me so much, and he's already an extremely stressful time in his life, and I know this will only make things go much worse for him. Part of me thinks I should wait until his life is more stable so I can be slightly more confident that it won't throw everything off the track for him. We've been broken up briefly before, and it ended with him binge drinking and crying himself to sleep. I don't want that on him again. Would I be the asshole for ending a 2-year relationship right after Valentine's Day? Bold move about me, no assholes here, because you wouldn't be the asshole, you start feelings for someone else. That means you got already out of there, so you should break up before it becomes a problem. And then him binge drinking is on him. I understand he's love broken, heartbroken, everything, but it's his choice to do it. It's not up to you. Why should you wait for a better life for him to break up and put your own life on hold? I understand the people-pleasing aspect, but don't. You're here for yourself, okay? Let's see what the top comment has to say. Not the asshole. You break up with someone when you realize you no longer want them to be with them. If there were some extreme exhausting circumstances, then delaying it might be reasonable, but you don't have any. Stop feeling bad about the timing, because the timing will never be great. Focus on more taking relationship and effectively lying to him. Be honest. Get over with it. Another one says, not the asshole. If he had said that he got you some nice expensive gift and you dropped the hammer the day after, that would be questionable, but if there was no gift and there was no celebration, the relationship was on its way out anyways. So you could just get it done and start moving on. Or rather, let him start moving on, since it sounds like you'll have something else to focus on. On to our next story, which is called, Am I the asshole for having Valentine's Day's plans? I apologize if there's any grammar mistake or if the post seems a bit jumbled. I'm on mobile and still processing what just happened. I, 22F, have made plans with my partner for Valentine's. Just some quality time together and maybe a movie or two. This is our first Valentine's together as a couple, and I want to enjoy it. Unfortunately, a couple years ago, my maternal grandmother passed away unexpectedly on Valentine's Day, and that's honestly been weighing pretty heavily on my mind. I struggle with the feeling that doing anything for Valentine's would be disrespectful or selfish, and I took a lot of long talks with a couple people to work through those feelings. Now, on to the issue. My mom contacted me and asked if I would be visiting on Valentine's Day for the anniversary of my grandpa's passing. I told her no, because even if I didn't already have plans, I really don't have money to spare. It's a long drive and burns through over half of my tank. She got extremely upset and claimed that I didn't care enough about my family or grandma, and that I was just making excuses to stay home and bone. Like nothing happened. She said if I really cared about my grandpa, I'd spend extra to drive over there and just pick up OT at work to make up extra money I spent. This hurts a lot, and I honestly wasn't expecting it at all. My relationship with my mom was super rocky, and sometimes even non-existent, for pretty much my entire life. She just recently admitted that she made a lot of mistakes, and it seemed like there was actually a chance that she would open up for change. Now, it's like all of that was just thrown on the side. The thing that makes it hard for me just to ignore her is that she was the one who got the call about my grandma when she was coding in the hospital. My mom was the one who had to make the decision to let my grandma go. And I know it was traumatic for her. Her mental health is deteriorating. And I can't help but feel guilty for not being there to help her. I'm struggling with my own mental health at the same time though. So, to be honest, I don't think I will be able to help her without it also hurting me. I know that what she's saying isn't true. I love my family so much and I miss my grandma immensely. Like I said before, I took a lot of talking to, even to be okay at chill night with my partner. Now, though, I don't know if I even want to do anything anymore. My mom's words hurt more than I thought they would, and part of me feels like she is right, and that I am being selfish. Am I the asshole? No, you're not the asshole. If you want to do that, then do that. She's guilt-tripping you into going there. I've read these stories before. It's like they guilt-trip you into it and then abuse you when you're even there. Mentally, physically. Doesn't matter, abuse is abuse. Let's see if we have a top comment. Not the asshole. There's plenty of ways to honor someone without physically visiting the burial spot. Exactly, you don't have to be there to respect her, think about her. Someone said, not the asshole. What is wrong with your mom? Like, of course you feel guilty about not being able to go, but at home, even with your partner, do something for your grandma as well. A candle, a balloon, something that would show that you still know. Send a short vid to your mom of you doing that. Me and my fiance did this for our late grandma every year since she passed. We realized a balloon, a light, and a candle. Same with the recently deceased daughter. Just show how you would create a new tradition. And I agree with that. You could create a new tradition, but I don't understand what's wrong with your mom. She's still a little bit of a psycho. Now, from one psycho to another. Am I the asshole? Valentine's Day mishap. I'll try to keep this relatively brief. I, semi-regular, buy my wife flowers from Costco because they are nice, last a while, and reasonably priced. I almost always get 2 dozen of red roses for no other reason than to make her happy since she likes flowers. I occasionally get a thank you if I'm lucky. So, a few weeks ago, I'm at Costco, I do all the grocery shopping, and I grabbed 2 dozen of roses because she had a bad day at work. I get home and she reminds me that she's leaving the next day for a work trip. Didn't really get a thank you. She gets back from the trip, and later that day, I get a call that my dad is unexpectedly moving to the ICU. He was recovering for a while from a surgery that didn't go well. The next day, I hop in the car and drive 3 states away to see my parents. When I get there, I realize that this is probably the end of him. My dad and I always liked ice cream, so while he was still lucid, I ran down the street to our favorite place and grabbed a few scoops to cheer him up. I see some Valentine's Day chocolate and grab them for my wife, not really thinking I'll be back for Valentine's Day or even soon be in the mood. But I got it anyway. My dad passes away a few days later. And the next day, I have to drive back 3 states to pick my kids up, bring them back. My wife has a work trip she can't get out of, so she meets in a few days later for the funeral. While I was back picking up the kids, I leave the chocolate there on my desk. I forget to put it in a nightstand, not really thinking about Valentine's Day. So, the funeral is Friday. On Sunday, my wife takes the kid back 3 states away, and I stay behind with my mom. Since this was unexpected, I was only going to stay a few days, but my wife convinces me to stay a week. Tuesday rolls around, just a few days after my dad passed away, and the first thing I do is text her, Happy Valentine's Day, sorry I'm not there, yada yada yada. The response? Stuck in traffic, not feeling the love. Okay. She's in the car, no big deal. Didn't hear from her again until she calls on her way home from work. Had a short normal conversation and didn't really discuss much or even Valentine's Day. She get the kids to bed and texts me that she's drinking alone on Valentine's Day. This turns into a huge fight about how I didn't send the flowers or order her dinner for the night. She didn't tell me when she would be back for the kids' activities or if she had any other plans late at night. I'm 3 states away. How the fuck am I supposed to know when to order her dinner? I told her I bought the chocolates while my dad was in the ICU. I left it on my desk. She sends me a picture of it in the garbage. So, in the end, my wife is pissed at me for not buying flowers or ordering dinner while I'm 3 states away, a few days after my dad's funeral. I told her we could do something when I go back in town in a few days. Am I the asshole for not ordering something for Valentine's Day? Am I being insensitive? I can't believe I'm even asking this, but I'm still pissed at me. No, you're not the asshole. Why is she even this distant? How long have they been together? Is that information we have? No, I don't think. No, we don't have information about how long they've been together, how old the kids are, how old they are. That's fine. But still, why is the wife doing something? I got a feeling that she's projecting. She's like projecting as in she's cheating or something, because that's when you start hating your partner because you despise them. But let's see what a top comment has to say. Someone says, is your wife Voldemort? Is this real? Your wife is missing empathy, kindness, and common freaking sense. I can't even with this monster. Not the asshole. I cannot fathom being so insensitive, self-centered that you make things about not getting dinner, flowers for Valentine's Day when your partner is quiet, literally just unexpected lost their dad. Crazy. But we have an update from OP himself. It's a short one, but like I predicted. Update. She was having an affair. It all makes sense now. That's it. That's the update, but she was projecting. As I said, she despised him because she wanted this. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Now, before we go to our last story, this is a long one as well, but don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great Valentine's Day. Am I the asshole for telling a guy I've been dating for about a month that I'd rather work on Valentine's Day than hang out with him, even after finding out his elaborate and romantic plan? I met Jeremy about a month ago on Tinder. We had a nice first date and agreed to see each other once again. And in the last month, I've seen him maybe 2-3 times a week. It's definitely not a fireworks at first sight situation, but I like him, and it's one of the relationships that are great for what they are. And maybe there's a chance of something more developing someday. But I just don't feel the spark, but I like him more and more every time I see him. So again, maybe this will be a spark eventually. I saw him on Sunday and he took me to a hockey game, which is my favorite sport. I had to work, so I met them there, and as he was walking me back to my car, he asked what my Valentine's Day plans are. I told him very directly that this is not really a holiday I care to celebrate, and I prefer to work anyway, since it's usually really good money. We aren't really to the kiss goodbye point, so I gave him a hug, and I thought that was that. I'm super busy in the week, so I didn't plan on seeing Jeremy at all. But then last night I got this call from him like 8 p.m. and it was clear he had been drinking. He first asked me if I would reconsider. I told him that I was sorry, that I was already on the schedule for work. He then went into a tirade that he'd spent the last 2 weeks getting dinner reservations at the nicest restaurants in town. As an aside, thanks dude, made me feel good that the restaurants I work at isn't the nicest even though we have a Michelin star. Ooh. A carriage ride and then a rose petal bath back in his apartment. We have not been intimate yet. I told him that I was very clear with him that I would rather work, and aside from that I'm just not into the holiday, and after seeing me for almost a month. I hope that you get the idea that I'm way more of a hockey game followed by a hot wings girls as opposed to a rose petals. He then literally told me I was acting like an asshole and told me that my relationship had 2 parts and maybe that he liked the rose petal baths and a romantic dinner. I told him that was great and I'm not opposed to doing those things, but I really wanted to work because saving money for my Euro trip this summer. That cost a whole nother thing because I guess I haven't told him that I'm leaving for the summer. Anyways, he hung up on me. This morning he texted me sort of like a non-apology, and that made me feel bad and that maybe I should give him a chance, especially if he did work hard to get a reservation and make these plans. But on the other hand, I was pretty clear with him what my plans were when he asked, and it's really not my fault that made elaborate and romantic plans for what was a 2-week-old relationship at this point. I'm very torn. Am I the asshole? You're not the asshole. You were pretty clear. And by the way, I understand doing something special for Valentine's Day, but damn, for 1 month, just get a nice reservation, a rose bath, and like, what was the other thing? The carriage ride. It's like, I understand it's much, but as she said before, you should have communicated this very clearly. If this is like a thing you would want it to do, then you would say, hey, I would want to do this, not I planned this for you. So there's like a bit of mixed signals here. He's like, yeah, maybe I wanted to do this, but I planned this for you. Maybe I wanted to do this. It's like, that's weird. But You're not the asshole. You made it very clear you didn't celebrate this. You rather work, and you work in a Michelin star restaurant, which is top notch as well. So it's high pressure and it's making good money. But hey, let's see what the top comment has to say. Not the asshole. You told him the deal was Valentine's Day and he didn't respect it. And now he's trying to guilt you into going along with his shit. Tell him to kick rocks. Not the asshole. Dude is assuming a lot and he's being very pushy and entitled. It's only been a month. Not the asshole. I'm on my 9th Valentine's Day with my husband, though he's away. And I love him with every fiber of my being. And I would like to freak out if I planned the day like Jeremy. It's too much, especially for a month-long relationship, and a bath sounds a little creepy, like he was counting on having sex even though you may have not been ready. I think this is a sign you're looking for if you're wanting to go on the spark. It's not coming. The spark will not come. Speaking of sparks, if you like spark and you like this story, don't forget to spark my life and like and subscribe. Spark yours as well. Leave a comment and tell me who's the asshole.